Hello and welcome back to the live stream. My name is JT and you're watching Black Box Trading. Sorry for the tardiness. We're about 15 minutes late, but as you can tell, I got my mic back. So I actually forgot that I had this thing and I was ready to go and I'm like, oh shit, I got to set up my mic. So forgive me for the tardiness, but at least I don't sound like I'm speaking into a tin can today. So that is all gravy. Bitcoin. Where did we leave off? What was the last time? I mean, the last live stream we had, we were saying, you know, nothing stops this train, man. We are bullish. We just had an all-time high break and we are going to continue to higher levels. Nothing's changed there. Alan's saying, I'm getting the feeling we're at an inflection point in the market. The inflection point was much lower. I know that you're trolling me, but the inflection point, we were down there. Now it's just, we're up only, man. We're phase two. It's bull season. It's time for the streamers and sparklers. It's celebration time. The herd hasn't woken up yet. People are still in denial. We are in the denial phase of the next market psychology cheat sheet, the Wall Street cheat sheet. We're ready to rock. We're ready to roll. It's time to go long. It's time to go strong. It's good. BTC, the man, the legend. Audio is good. Great. I'm glad to hear that the audio is sounding good. Hello from Thailand. It's midnight here. That's later than I stay up. I'm a bit of a early bird myself, but glad to have you on the stream regardless. We'll be in Thailand probably September. I'll be in Bangkok for a few months. So the live stream time will change, as it often does here on the channel. I'm sorry, I'm a nomad that can't keep a consistent schedule, but it is what it is. Let's dive into the charts. Let's take a look here. So starting off just on the dashboard, we're rocking and rolling. It's nothing too crazy since we took the manual trade that we shared in the Discord. We've been long in the spot market, much lower levels than we were calling for. The reversal down at 78 is when I think we kind of flipped our bias down there. 74, it was like, oof, it's getting close to our inflection point. And then 78, once we broke past that resistance point, we were looking in good. Currently $109,000 long with $6,200 profit so far, unrealized gains. Looking real good. If you guys want access to this dashboard, all you got to do is go to blackbox.pro. That is BLKBöX.pro and sign up for free. It's free. You get free access to this. We don't take a dime. If anybody from our team ever reaches out to you asking for a dime, you'll know right away that that is a scam. We accept no cash payments. All of our products come at no extra cost to you. We get a small commission from the exchanges that are fees that you are already paying if you are on a cryptocurrency exchange. Enough about the pitch. Let's get into the main dish here. Let's take a look at the king of all crypto, that is Bitcoin. Beautiful stair stepping up, man. We rally, we impulse, consolidate tight range, impulse, consolidate tight range, impulse, consolidate a little bit of a wider range, but you know, as you keep climbing, there will be a correction, there will be a pullback at some point, but I don't think that point is yet. I think that we are probably going to, like I've said numerous times on the show, I'm targeting this range up here, this kind of 125. I know it's a wide range and people hate it when I do wide ranges, but I'm just being realistic. But you know, somewhere up here is where we will conclude, somewhere between $125,000 to $150,000 before we get a little bit of a more volatile pullback that's really going to start to hurt the market participants. If you've been in this and you've been getting hurt, stop what you're doing. It's not working. You couldn't ask for a more favorable trading condition than this current rally from the $80,000 level. it's been nothing but up only. Beautiful price action with hardly any pullbacks. Basically no pullbacks. Like these, I don't qualify these as pullbacks. These are just pauses before another impulse. And we're starting to get lighter pullbacks now. And once we get into this range, you'll start to see those exacerbated pullbacks. The price action will become more volatile. That's just a characteristic of reaching these extended targets that the market's not really prepared for. That's the nice thing about this area down here. It's a characteristic of denial. So because of denial, the lack of market participation in the market, you don't get major pullbacks because it's just the natural bid-ask spread of the order book where demand is higher than supply, just ticking us to the upside. The fact that a lot of people are still sidelined is a good thing. You don't have that retail FOMO. You don't have that retail demand coming just yet. But you better believe that when we're up in this range, they're going to be here. And when they get here, volatility will expand and there will be some major pullbacks at that point. It's only when everybody buys that there's nobody left to buy and we have a pullback. So right now there's still plenty of buyers, potential energy of buyers sitting on the sidelines. So we have more upside in my opinion. All right. Can you please let us know, just catching up with the chat here before we move on, could you please let us know which BTC or crypto debit card you would recommend? This is my first cycle where I'll cash out some gains. Thanks, man. I really appreciate your channel. Mauricio, the best one that I can recommend is whichever one is popular in your jurisdiction. And I will also say that none of them are very great right now. They're not where they need to be. And they're all kind of the same. There's really no best one. Any of them, the best one is the one that you can get in your country that has the lowest fees. That's the best one. So whatever that is, I can't really make any recommendations because I don't really use them. How I'm able to live on a Bitcoin standard is by supporting the decentralized peer-to-peer marketplace as a seller, selling sats on decentralized apps like BISC and acquiring small amounts of local currency in whichever jurisdiction that I'm in. So I don't really use them. And there's a lot of them now. There's more crypto debit cards than have ever been around. So you want to look for one that has the lowest rate. They usually rip you off. They're not that great. And then you want one that has instant convertibility. So for example, I do have one and it's not very good. I don't recommend it. I have the crypto.com crypto debit card. But the thing is, it has a cash balance. So it's basically just a glorified debit card, prepaid debit card where, I have crypto attached to crypto.com, but I need to sell $100 worth of Bitcoin. And then it goes into the cash balance and then I can use the cash balance. You don't want that. If you have $100 worth of Bitcoin, you want a card that will just convert. Each transaction will convert that those sats so that you're never needing to sell your Bitcoin. You're effectively spending it with a small fee, and the fees are about 1%, so they're not great, but that's what I would recommend. I believe you're in Europe. Europe has a lot more options than Canada. I'm officially a resident of the UAE now, so I should explore other options that are available to me in the UAE. But the options available to Canadians are few and far between. That's why I don't have a lot of exposure to the debit cards. Morning from Berkeley. Why no short squeezes? Why no short squeeze when we passed all-time high? I think a lot of the short side liquidity is up at 115. So you might see some acceleration at 115, and we haven't quite reached 150. And that's when a lot of the stops, or at least a lot of the sell walls, are placed. So, we might see, because they might be shorting at the all-time high, but their stop loss is X amount of percent higher. The all-time high, if we take a look, get rid of this stupid thing. Prior all-time highs here. So if you placed a short at the all-time high and we go up to 115, that's a 5% move. So pretty common stop loss for a lot of traders. So that 5% move is where the liquidation event will take place. The short squeeze will hit the market as in the form of buying. Jasper, hello. M2 money supply shows pullback near 120 to 130. Be careful with, I'm seeing this a lot on X where people are mapping out M2 and they're attaching it to prices of Bitcoin. Be careful with that. M2 has Bitcoin is not reflexive enough to properly show pullbacks on M2. So it can show general areas of where you can expect a pullback in terms of time, but it will not show you targets. It will not show you retracement amounts. So just be cautious with that, because I'm seeing it a lot where people are mapping it out and they're mapping the current price action to the exact line of M2 and they're like, oh, we're at a top. Like, just ignore that shit. M2's in an uptrend. Bitcoin's in an uptrend. Keep it simple. Don't ever take a pattern and place it onto a chart and think that you know what's going to happen next. That's a word of advice that I can afford many people is, when it works, holy crap, do those accounts go viral? Like when you map it out and it actually follows, those people get praised as saviors. But trust me, they got lucky. And the next time that they get the same setup, it usually doesn't work. Like nine times out of 10, or like 20 times out of 19 out of 20 times it doesn't work. So just be careful with mapping things out move for move. Just focus on trend. M2's in an uptrend. Bitcoin's in an uptrend. Did you say BISC for P2P BTC to fiat? I did, yes. I actually have a BISC video. So if you go into my channel and search the word BISC, you'll learn how to buy on BISC. You'll just have to, reverse engineer that to be the seller in that case. I sell BTC on BISC. So if you're ever looking for BTC peer-to-peer, I sell BTC all the time. There's nothing wrong with selling BTC if 100% of your net worth, if you earn BTC, you're going to sell BTC. So let's take a look at M2 actually, just for curiosity's sake. We were one of the first, well, I'm not going to say we're the first, but we were one of the channels that had been monitoring M2 for a while before it became the cool thing to do. And then we stopped doing it because everybody was doing it. And when everybody does something, we kind of stop paying attention to it. No. See, I've already forgotten even how to look at it. That's not how we look at it. We go to indicators. And we go to M2 money supply. There it is. Oops. Let's bring it to existing pane above. There we go. Let's turn alphanumerics off. It's a little loud. Now, this is kind of the best way to look at it. Let's actually turn this onto a line chart. Let's change M2 to a different color. Yeah, so you're seeing a lot of people shift this over. They're shifting M2 over and they're lining it up exactly on the price action of Bitcoin. Don't do that. And if you look at M2, it's a pause. It's not a pullback. So here's M2. It's reached a pause. You have one impulse, two impulse, pause. One impulse, two impulse, pause. So we have a little bit of a pause. And that's right above the prior all-time high of M2. And that's what we're doing right here. And, this could still be part of an impulse, right? We could go up to here It's not an exact roadmap. It's just a general guideline for expectations. So let's say we go up to 120, then we have a pause pullback that retests, and then we head up to 160, 180, 200. We have no idea. It's important not to create those anchoring biases, but M2 continues to climb. It continues to climb. And let's say we go to 150 and just do this super tight trading range where everybody thinks it's going to pull back and everybody's going to convince you that the top is in. And then boom, we continue up to higher levels. Long story short, ladies and gentlemen, we are bullish. We are bullish. This market is just getting started. Phase 2 has just begun. The acceleration phase of Bitcoin has just begun. It's time to shake off your bear market trauma. It's time to shake off your mid-cycle trauma and realize that the market conditions, if this is your first cycle, or like you came in last cycle, the reason that you came in last cycle, the market condition that got you in last cycle is about to happen again. Don't forget the craziness of what you saw when you got in last time. That is coming. That is we're at the beginning of that crazy part of the cycle that sucks everybody in. It has just begun. So don't be too bearish. Way too many bears in the market. And when I say bear, I mean people who are saying, we'll get to 150 or people saying, oh, we could get to 250 by the end of the year. You're a pussy. We're going to much higher levels. Shocking levels. At least $500,000 per coin by the end of this cycle. Is this late in the cycle for retail to get involved? Yes, it is. You're not just getting involved, but anybody beyond, we're at the threshold. We are at the inflection point. We're at the threshold for retail. This is the upper bounds. So, and it's, this is the time where everybody's going to start asking you about Bitcoin. And it's the time where you should be the less comfortable with telling them to take a position in it. We are at the uppermost threshold of what is appropriate, and we are entering acceleration, which another word for acceleration, that phase, is we're entering the risk phase. So new people coming in are probably, more than likely, the vast majority, 90% of them are going to get fucked over. It's just reality. They're going to have a fun ride to the top. They're going to have a gay old time to the top. But they will ultimately get fucked. We are crossing that threshold of risk now. No new positions. Like if you've been DCAing and you say that you want to continue to DCA, you do you. There's nothing wrong with continuing to DCA from this point forwards. But for me, I'm a little bit more strategic with my DCA. And I think that instead of DCAing into Bitcoin, I would actually start to DCA a cash position. It's entirely up to you. I mean, those sats will be more valuable at the end, but you should already have a sizable Bitcoin position at this point. And we're entering into the point where it's just chill. You've all planted your seeds. It's time for the growth. It's time for the growth phase. Those seeds are going to turn into trees. And then it's time to think about harvest. We don't think about planting more seeds in the middle of the summer. We enjoy the growth of what we've done so far, and we focus on planning when is harvest. BlackRock is still buying. So BlackRock isn't buying. BlackRock is an intermediary of retail. They have an ETF, right? When somebody buys the ETF, BlackRock needs to buy Bitcoin on behalf of that person. So effectively, BlackRock is retail. So when you think of it that way, the most amount of Bitcoin that BlackRock will buy will be at the top of the market. They will be the biggest buyers of Bitcoin at the top of the market. Why? Because the most amount of retail demand will be coming at the top of the market. It's not BlackRock. BlackRock certainly has positions, but their positions are set. They bought at 18K. They bought much, much lower than us. They bought sub 20K, they're not adding to their positions at this point. They're buying Bitcoin to represent the ETF demand, but they're not buying Bitcoin. Adam at $5 right now. We can take a look at Adam. Are there any books you've read about Bitcoin that gave you such a huge amount of confidence in it? There are books that I have enjoyed reading, for sure. And if you haven't read the Bitcoin Standard, it's a standard issue read in this circle of lunatics that you're a part of. But for me, honestly, it's just time. The confidence comes with time. You know, I've been in this market since 2016, and I was introduced to this market not as a speculator. I was introduced to this market as a user. A lot of people may not know the backstory, but I moved to Los Angeles, and I was, may or may not have been working under the table when I moved there, because I was not a fully legal I was not fully cleared for work at the time. So I was accepting payment in Bitcoin. So I was introduced to the market as a user. And being introduced to the market as a user kind of set up a different understanding of how the protocol works from outside of a speculative point of view. So I have a lot of hours on deck as a user, and the longer you are a user of Bitcoin, the more comfortable you become with it. I'm at the point now where I don't fucking use a bank at all. Financial advisors are having a heart attack hearing that stuff, and it is borderline crazy. So I'm not making it as a recommendation. I'm not saying fucking sell all your fiat and go into a Bitcoin Standard. And I will never say that until you are earning Bitcoin. What I will say is you should earn Bitcoin. So if you offer a product or a service to this world, you should offer that product or service to this world in Bitcoin. Just make it an offer. But that's a side thing. But I have way more, just the other day, I was talking to somebody who was trying to move money from one country to another, and the wire got denied. And it's it's my money. Why are you denying the wire? And it's oh, well, it exceeded a certain amount, and we're going to need a declaration of use and blah, 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 blah. Dude, Bitcoin fucking done in 10 minutes, confirmed, finalized, settled, 10 minutes. So confidence comes with time. It's like anything. Are you confident with your debit card? Are you confident with your credit card? Probably to the point where you don't even think about it at all. Of course you're confident with your debit card. You use it every freaking day. It's the same with Bitcoin. I use it every day. I'm confident. It works. It's great. Love it. And living on a Bitcoin Standard has done nothing but improve the quality of my life. Whereas the fiat standard, as many of you I'm sure can feel at this point, reduces the quality of your life. And the longer that you slave away in the fiat mines, the harder your life becomes. It's not an easy transition. I want to make it very clear that it wasn't an easy transition for me. It's not going to be an easy transition for you. But speaking from my own perspective, it's done nothing but improve the quality of my life, the higher the allocation. And the lower the allocation of fiat, I've reduced the pain. So I don't want to sound like an asshole or anything, but inflation's not a thing for me. I don't feel it. It's a non-issue. Whereas a lot of people are struggling with inflation, and I don't have inflation. I have deflation. So everything's gotten cheaper for me. And that's not a flex. That's just me sharing my experience with how I feel with this currency. The amount of money, the amount of sats I need to pay for, me to live in a month is more than it was before than it is now. A couple of years ago, it was less dollars than it was for you to live now. It's more dollars now. For me, it's less sats. It's inverse. But anyways. Leverage traders are low, just institution spot trading, pure base on an uptrend. 100% Nova, 100%. BlackRock is probably dumping on them at these prices. I don't think BlackRock's done yet. You know, if we are talking about a position that BlackRock is taking, BlackRock knows what's going on. Like, they're inside trading. They know the regulations that are being pushed through. It'll be interesting to see what some of the announcements are going to come out of the Bitcoin conference in Vegas. I think some bombs will be dropped on some bombshell news events are going to be dropped at that conference. So we'll see. Seeing that you're telling it's a little late for retail to start DCAing, do you share the same sentiment with the black box bots? With the black box bots, those are trading vehicles. So there's investments and there's trading. So you can always trade. You can always trade. But what you need to make sure is that you're not trading with your full stack. Like, if you are in the world of cryptocurrency, it's very easy for you to just be like, well, I've got this much Bitcoin, I'm going to trade with this much Bitcoin. Don't do that. Don't do that. I mean, I make a lot of money if you do that, but don't do that. That's not what we want you to do. You need to have a healthy backbone. You need to have a healthy spot position of Bitcoin that just lives on a fucking wallet, dude. It just lives on the ledger. You don't touch it. And if you want to increase the position of that without adding capital, without DCAing into Bitcoin, if you want to add to those positions, you can assume more risk and use some trading bots or manually trade yourself to try and stack more sats. But there's a risk there, and it's an actively managed position. Just make sure, if you're new, no more than 5% of your stack. If you're experienced and you're confident and you're willing to assume the risk, you can totally trade with like 10% of your stack. But again, everybody's case is different. All that I can say is, you know, make sure that the most Bitcoin that you have is sitting in a hardware wallet that you own, that nobody has access to. Everything else from that is just, everything else beyond that is supplementary. 20%, yeah, it's totally fine. You know, it's a case by case thing. It's a jungle out there for alts. Yeah, we're gonna transition into alts very quickly here once I catch up with the chat. Thanks, JT. Got to go now. See you later, Jasper. Gym sesh just finished myself. Thank you so much for the time to explain. I really appreciate your insights. You're very welcome. Went all in 22 at 17.5. Booyah. Beautiful, beautiful entry, my friend. Fuck yeah. Well done. Rock solid entry. Rock solid entry. I mean, we were just north of 18K. You saw it. You went for it. Well done, sir. All right. Let's finish things up here with Bitcoin. Yeah, just a little bit of chop. Just a little bit of chop, but nice little double bottom. Not really a divergence here presenting itself. We'll have to see. Maybe this comes down to lower levels. If it does, maybe we get a little love tap down to this level right here at around 104, but I'm thinking we'll probably hold this general range. I don't think we're going to make a new low. I think the low for this area is in, and it will probably head up. We just had a weekly close. With a weekly close, you usually get a little bit of a liquidity test to the downside just to confirm that the bulls are there. And once you get that test, that successful test that the bulls are present, you head up to the upside. But overall, the weekly looks great. We printed a beautiful phantom candle on the weekly. Ladies and gentlemen, these phantom candles are beautiful. The last phantom candle that we had, look at it. It just like told you the acceleration phase. 2 weeks later, you can see the liquidity dip, right? Where it came down to the 7. I really don't think we're going to come down to the 7, but the 7's at 100 even. So we're at 109. I don't see us coming below 100. So you can, you know, have a little bit of safety in that mindset. 1, 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, boom, boom. These phantom signals are glorious. Here's another phantom signal right here. And 1, 2, 3 weeks later, boom, massive move. So from the close of the phantom signal to where it peaked out, 100%. From the close of the phantom signal to the peak, 58%. If we go back a little further, that's Woney's buy right there. No, he even did better than that. He did better than that. Oh, Matt, look at that. Look at 17.5. Good entry, my friend. Really good entry. But here's the close. This one dipped, but we were still in a bear market. The demand wasn't there. I'm not expecting a dip like that, but it's still ultimately resolved to the upside for a 30% move. Let's actually take a look at some of the phantom candles from 2017, because I still maintain the fact that there's a lot of similarities to 2017. Oh, we got to go to the index chart for that. Let's go back here. Where are our phantom candles at? Where's our post all-time high break phantom candle? Did we get one? Did we get one? We didn't even get one. Man, that was just a beautiful, just one and done phantom candle for the whole bull market. My God. Okay. Well, in that regard, it's not the same as 2017 because we've already had a couple. But yeah, it had this one with the dip, second one, and then just insane returns. Is there really no phantom candle? Is that a phantom candle? Oh, here we go. There's a phantom candle here. They're fantastic. They're fantastic entries. They're super powerful entries. So we're a fan. We're a fan of the phantom candles. We are a fan of the phantom candles. And we just closed, baby. We just closed. It's looking good. I mean, as if you needed any more to be excited about for where we're heading in this acceleration phase. You don't need anything more. Like, it's funny, like there's nothing really for me to say. Like, you guys are watching this for me to tell you what's a good entry. You're already in, or at least you should be. And we have clear skies ahead of us. It's fantastic. I have nothing bearish to say. All right. Thanks, Tone Vase. Oh, well done, Tone Vase. Good call. Fantastic. We all kind of figured it out around the same area with different methods. Matt with the daily high. If you guys aren't watching, definitely subscribe to the Financial Summit. But Matt with the daily high, he came up with his own way to say that 18K is the entry. Tone did 17.5. I got 18.20 for our entry. We all kind of in our own different ways figured out the best way to get in. All right. How's that rotation going? Still not altcoin season, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry to report. We keep printing green candles here, green after green after green after green. We're still watching for that big impulse move up to the 70% area here for Bitcoin dominance. It's getting a little bit of it's a mildly better condition to be in for altcoins, but guys, we are not in altcoin season yet. You do not have your 30x yet. It's coming, but it's still not there. As much as I would love to say that it's there, it's not there. But we will take a look. We had a request. What was the request? I got to roll the chat back here. Roll the chat back. It was Adam. Atom. Haven't looked at Adam in a while. Cosmos. Yeah, kind of a meh. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't look that great to me, honestly. I mean, a little bit of a recovery move, but overall, it's still not a good performer. And this is on the Tether pair. I can't even imagine it on the Bitcoin pair. Bitcoin pair is going to be even worse. Atom BTC. Yeah, it's the lowest price it's ever been. So cool that it had a little bit of a recovery, but ultimately it's still got a lot of work to do. Atom has a lot of work to do to get us back above water here. So not the greatest. Take a look at Fetch AI. Oh, we got a little scribble there waiting for us. Yeah, this one's got a lot of work to do as well. It's likely beginning a range. Now, historically speaking, these things make massive moves late cycle. They do, well, this late cycle. They do these big, massive moves late cycle. It's always late cycle because it's one of the more speculative narratives, and you need a lot of market participants. And then all of a sudden, there's a switch that flips, and then everybody only wants to talk about AI. Or last time it was metaverse, and it was metaverse and AI. They were both kind of pumping together, but it's always late cycle. So considering that I'm not expecting altcoins to begin their cycle till June, late cycle would be probably October, maybe even November, before these start taking off. So I'm not expecting much to happen for Fetch AI in the short to medium term. And if we take a look at FET on the Bitcoin pair, none of this should come as a surprise, by the way. Bitcoin dominance is climbing. When Bitcoin dominance is climbing, everything else is not climbing. It's doing poorly. Fetch AI is basically down at its lows. So it's got kind of this oscillator type pattern where it just keeps coming back down to the floor. This is actually a new floor. It's a new low from the prior low. So that's showing weakness. It's an equal low to way back here in 2022. On the Bitcoin pair, it looks like shit. But that'll all change once Bitcoin dominance begins to decline. Right now, it's still climbing. It's been climbing since, as a reminder, this chart has been up only since September of 2022. It's been up only, which means you should have not touched an altcoin. If you added an altcoin to your portfolio at any point at any point after September 2022, not a good move. Ondo BTC. Oof. Yucky. Ondo getting wrecked big time. Let's take a look at Ondo on the dollar pair. Yeah, it's just not time for alts, guys. We don't even need to really look at these charts because we have the answer. We have the answer key to this test already. For those who are uninitiated, this is the answer key. This is the cheat sheet. When this is up, alts are down. When this is down, alts are up. I cannot stress this enough. People try to overcomplicate it, and they're like, oh, well, you shouldn't use Bitcoin dominance because, Tether dominance is more important, or this doesn't take into account stable coins or blah, blah, blah. Nah, fuck that. Like, uptrend, alts down. Downtrend, alts up. It's never been wrong. So why try to reinvent the wheel? Why try and get cheeky with it? It's never fucking wrong. Just follow it. What about a month ago when XMR? What about Aave and Kaspa? Aave looks like it wants to massively pump. We can take a look. Google email account says about a month ago when XMR was 280, I converted a half a Bitcoin into it and it's been doing well. I will say XMR is an outlier. It's a leader in the alts for sure. And I don't know why, because usually privacy coins are a late season performer. Why? Because everybody's taking profits into privacy coins so that they can hide their profits and they can hide from the government and they don't have to pay capital gains. So they're usually a laggard in terms of the altcoin season. But you're right. XMR has been doing exceedingly well early cycle. Really, really good. I mean, stupendous move here in Bitcoin. When did you say? Try to avoid sharing amounts, by the way. Shouldn't talk about, how much you did. Just say, sizable, or leave it vague. But you said half anyway, so that's fine. Moving forwards, try to avoid amounts. That's for your own safety and privacy. You'll notice that I don't talk in amounts, and nobody should ever talk about amounts. When XMR was at 280, I guess we got to go to the slave currency chart. What did I do? There, I'm back. Pressed the wrong button there. XMR USD. 280. Solid entry, indeed. Yeah, right at the weekly. Boom. You got yourself 43% more Bitcoin, sucker. Maybe not 43% more Bitcoin, but you know what I'm saying. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 weekly closes prior. So let's go XMR BTC. 1, 2, 3, 4. 23% more Bitcoin. Not too shabby, man. 1 million sats, 1.2 million sats added to the roster. Well done. XMR probably doing well because of sanctions. Yeah, that's a valid theory. All right, let's take a look at Aave. Aave is a pretty clean chart, man. Pretty clean. I have been poo-pooing all over anything related to Ethereum for a long time. Ethereum has been my it's been my punching bag this cycle. I have been dunking hard on Ethereum and anything associated with that stupid chain that's done nothing for anybody. I mean, Ethereum has been a horrendous hold. That being said, I'm seeing a lot of traditional DeFi plays. We were looking at Curve. Curve is a beautiful structure. Curve is it's a textbook structure. Mauricio's been holding Curve for a while. He's the one that brought it to our attention. When we look at Aave, this is clean, man. This is clean. This is a clean sign of strength. Beautiful back test. It's ready to go to higher levels. Aave looks great. Aave BTC. Oh, I got too many V's there. Aave BTC. Definitely not as good on the Bitcoin pair, but, Aave's connected to ETH, and ETH has been such a terrible performer. We'll take a look at ETH in a sec too. But yeah, that dollar pair on Aave, it looks clean, man. It looks clean. Kaspa, we told you guys to get out of Kaspa. We told you guys to get out of Kaspa right here. If you listened, you saved yourself this whole 50% drop. We're back up to it. This is a point. This is an inflection point. Kaspa needs to get back on top of this support range. If it gets rejected again, it'll probably get rejected harder. It'll probably take out this low. Now, the market conditions are not setting themselves up for this to take place. So there would have to be some sort of a disaster on the fundamentals side of Kaspa if that were to take place. The one thing to be very cautious of with Kaspa is it had a meteoric rise mid-cycle. There are a lot of freaking whales in Kaspa. Like, it did 15,000% from the low to the high. You got to be careful because there's a lot of real wealthy, stupid people holding Caspa. And if they get shaken out, if these paper hands, these rich whale paper hands get shaken out at the wrong time, you could absolutely see this one fall. It is a narrative play at the end of the day. So, but the market conditions are favorable for us to reclaim this level, but currently sitting below this level and getting a rejection at this level, certainly need to be cautious. You certainly need to be cautious. I definitely would feel a lot better if we reclaimed this. We're going to do the classic JT move here, and we're going to do our two favorite labels, bullish and bearish. And keep it simple, ladies and gentlemen. One stupid line. I cannot stress to you how important one stupid line on your chart can be. Below this line, you're bearish. Above this line, you're bullish. Currently, we're bearish. Simple as that. So I disagree with you that Caspa, oh no, you said Aave looks like it wants to massively pump. I agree. Phil D, Aave looks like it wants to run. Aave looks like it wants to run. Caspa, not so much. Not so much on the Caspa side. All right, as promised, the punching bag. We got to take a look at the punching bag. How's the punching bag doing? Man, people hated me, even my own community, because I used to dunk hard on Cardano. Last cycle, I was just dunking on Cardano. Hated Cardano. I talked so much shit on Cardano, and I was bullish as you can be on ETH, because it was all DeFi, man. It was DeFi. DeFi was the name of the game. Last cycle, everything was ETH. The whole market was denominated in ETH. That's not the case this cycle, and ETH has become my punching bag, and people hated me. But look at this. Like, you keep it simple. We were below this downtrend. As long as we were below this downtrend, I said we were going to remain below this downtrend, and that's exactly how it played out. This Wyckoff distribution played out exactly as it was supposed to do. And I will remain bearish on ETH until we can get above this downtrend. Hasn't happened yet. Hasn't happened yet. Now, there's a lot of upside for us to even try. You know, you would make 62% Bitcoin if you got in now and it pumped, but it's not showing much strength. What I actually think is going to happen is a double bottom down here. So this is kind of a juicy area for the ETH enthusiast down here. If you are bullish on ETH, this is definitely the area to take a close look at and maybe start taking a position, because if we bounce off that, I mean, fuck, you're looking really good. Ultimately, I think this is where ETH's going to end up. Now, keep in mind what we're looking at here is the Bitcoin pair. When you zoom out and take a realistic approach here, you know, the high for ETH was 16 million sats. That was in 2017. Then in the 2021 high, it was 8 million sats per ETH. I'm being generous this cycle, saying that we're going to get to 5 million sats per ETH. We're in a downtrend. Every cycle it comes to a different level. Now, there's tons of upside. Us going to 5 million sats per ETH, that's massive, huge. Like, ETH will be over $10,000 a coin, but it's still a downtrend. It's still a downtrend. So don't be fooled. Don't be fooled by the slave currency valuations here, ladies and gentlemen. Just because something is up in dollar terms does not mean it's a good investment. You already assume enough risk with Bitcoin. If you're going to assume that much risk, and the most stable, most secure, safest asset is outperforming ETH, then what the fuck are you doing? Just hold Bitcoin. Bitcoin's also private. ETH is fully transparent for those that, you know, are interested in that sort of thing. Now we're going to get trolls on that comment saying Bitcoin's not private. What the fuck are you talking about? It's fully transparent. It's pseudo anonymous for clarity's sake. which if you know how to use the Bitcoin network and you know how to organize your transactions, you know how to manage your UTXO, and you know how to create anonymity and plausible deniability in your transaction footprint, it's as good as private. It's fully transparent. It's the best of both worlds. It's transparent when it needs to be. It's private when you know how to use it, which is great because you deserve privacy as a user, and governments do not deserve privacy at all. Governments need transparency. So it truly is the best of both worlds. Do look into understanding privacy on Bitcoin. Go to my favorite website on the topic, Bitcoin Guide. I think it's Bitcoin Guide, bitcoin.guide. Is it bitcoin.guide? No. Just Google Bitcoin Guide to Privacy. Yeah, there we go. Bitcoiner.guide. There you go. And check this out. Okay. It's doable. I'm going to drop this in the chat. There you go. Go check that out. So to anybody that says Bitcoin's not private, they just don't know how to use it. And that's fine. Lots of people don't know how to use Bitcoin. All right. If ETH is a punching bag, then Pole should be a gym toilet. I don't even know what Pole is. Guess I haven't been to the toilet there. Can you talk more about Sonic and predictions? I predict that Sonic... Oh man, Sonic's taking a little bit of a tumble here. That's tempting. That's certainly tempting. I predict that by the end of this year, Sonic will be at a much higher price. I don't get too specific with my predictions. I think Sonic will be a huge performer. And I wonder what's going on here. This is definitely a narrative-driven thing. This is very tempting. Very tempting to take a position in Sonic. I think I might actually do it. It's below, what is the RSI reading here? It's at 25 on the RSI on the daily. Boy, that's tempting. That is tempting. I think it'll be at a high price. That's my prediction. It's nothing fancy, man. You don't have to, you just need to, I think Sonic's going to outperform Bitcoin during the altcoin cycle. That's the prediction. What more do you need? Just price predictions are pointless, guys. They really are. Like you would be lucky to be able to predict the price of Bitcoin. And you have a lot of data to be able to make an educated guess on where Bitcoin will end up. Making a price prediction on an alt is just a waste of brain cells. Don't assign yourself that task. It's completely useless. You'll never get it. Nobody will ever get that. It's just, don't waste your time. It's hard enough. Just focus on Bitcoin. When Bitcoin is in a bull market, it will reach an acceleration phase, which I think we're entering right now. Part of the acceleration phase is an altcoin season. During altcoin season, altcoins outperform Bitcoin, meaning that by holding an altcoin and then selling it into Bitcoin later, you will end up with more Bitcoin. Don't overcomplicate it, please. These are all scams. Everything that isn't Bitcoin is a scam. Everything that isn't Bitcoin is at best a test net for Bitcoin, and at worst a blatant outright scam. They're bullshit. It's all fugazi. It's all nonsense. There's no such thing as an altcoin investment. They're all bullshit. They're fun little things to trade so that at the end you get more Bitcoin, which is the real thing. That's the real innovation. That's the revolution. That's the new technology. That's everything. That's why it's at the top. And it's not at the top by a little bit. It's at the top by a lot. That's why Bitcoin is valued as high as it's valued. That's why Bitcoin is the 5th most valuable thing in the world by market cap. So don't overcomplicate it. Altcoin season is around the corner. Sonic will outperform Bitcoin during the altcoin season. That's it. Paul is Polygon. When did that ticker change? You kidding me? Is it? So they changed the ticker because it used to be Matic. That's how out of the loop I am, man. Most old alts are doing well. Look at the hype. It's skyrocketing. Old alts. Most old alts are doing well. Let's take a look down. Let's take a trip down memory lane. Let's take a look at Dash. How's Dash doing? That's an old alt. Dash is doing shit. Let's take a look at Neo. Neo's an old ass coin. I'm showing my age now. I'm showing my crypto age here. Neo doing shit, not doing so hot. IOTA doing shit. VeChain doing shit. You're gonna have to give me some examples of these old coins, my friend. Maybe last cycle's coins, but the OGs are doing shit. Litecoin, horrendous. Dumpster fire. So certainly not most, at least not the old coins that I'm familiar with. Arbitrum. ARB, baby. We have a position in ARB. That was one of our bear market accumulation plays. And so far, not great. But we're in it for the long haul. Is that? That's on Binance? Yeah, we're in this one for the long haul. Yeah, it's not as nice. It's not as nice as some of the other ones. On the Bitcoin pair, it's horrendous. Disgusting. This is poor life choices right here. You win some, you lose some, ladies and gentlemen. Lido. Lido Dow. Not as clean. Aave looks sexy, man. Not gonna lie. Aave, Curve looks sexy. CRV. Curve looks fantastic. Curve looks great. This textbook Wyckoff accumulation right here. I mean, this is just, it's pound for pound, move for move. It looks great. Let's turn that off so you can see it a little bit better. Look at it. It's perfect. It's textbook. Pin it. XRP. XR, please. XRP. The Bank Con. For those who don't know, I fucking hate XRP. XRP is a scam. XRP is a scam. If XRP gets any global adoption, that will make me worried. That will make me worried. That will mean that this experiment is failing because people don't get it. Yeah, still flagging. It's still in the range. It's starting to show a little bit of weakness. Like, this isn't the greatest. This is kind of a diamond. It's kind of a diamond shape, which is not what you want to see. We got this diamond formation. Diamonds are reversal signals. Reversal formations. Now, they don't always have to reverse. Like I said, the market is working for us. The conditions for altcoins are getting better. But XRP is a piece of shit. And who knows? Maybe there is a god and XRP gets sued again and plummets. We'll see. If it breaks this downward sloping, if it breaks this trend line, it'll probably revisit some lows. I don't think it's coming all the way down here. So I can only be so bearish. It would probably come down here for a retest before a bounce. Listen, we're going into altcoin season. Everything will go up. Now, the other outcome is that it breaks out of the diamond. If it breaks out of a bearish pattern, if a bearish pattern breaks bullish, it's uber bullish. It's super bullish, which can totally happen as well. It can totally happen. Maybe the reason that we're seeing a bearish consolidation is because it's XRP, and Ripple Labs is always selling XRP. They're always, taking profits and selling XRP. It's one of the bigger pre-mined bullshit scams out there. So the XRP Foundation is always selling. Now, if enough demand comes in, it can outpace the selling of XRP. But yeah, that's the dollar pair. Let's take a look at XRP on the Bitcoin pair, which is the more important one to be paying attention to. This is the one that we really want. Like, this is where we keep it simple, right? Above the line, bullish. Below the line, bearish. We're below the line, we're bearish. If we break out above it, even an XRP bear like me will have to be tempted by this chart. It's going to be bullish if we get above there. Do you hold Arbitrum for the long term? Is there a specific reason? It was just one of the ones that we took a position in deep bear market when we didn't have clarity on market direction. I wouldn't advise it, but I stick to my positions. When I'm building out positions, I build them for the cycle. The cycle's not over. So I built it early in the depths of the bear market, and we're still, I guess Arbitrum we're not up, but other assets that we chose deep in the bear were up. We built them when there was no narrative. There was no market direction. There were no trends. So we were really going in blind. And that's why. So it was just, something from the last cycle. It presented itself with a nice setup on the Wyckoff accumulation chart, and we went for it. The airdrop helped. The airdrop gave us attention. We started paying attention to it because of the airdrop. But other than that, no specific reason. And when I say long term, I just mean for the cycle. Hype token, sir. Yes. How big will this bull run be versus previous years? I'm thinking it won't go as high since we are already high. We don't know. If it we don't know, and we don't care. The wave is green. While the wave is green, we're bullish. When it flips red, we'll be bearish. This can remain green for a very long time. In 2017, we got to go. Come on. Back it up. Why? There we go. In 2017, it had long durations of green. Here, long durations of green. And as long as it's green, we assume higher levels. So it can go as high as it wants. Every cycle is different. And eventually the law of diminishing returns that model will break. Why? Because we're on a technology adoption curve. Technology adoption curves move in S waves. So you have the early adopters, right? Then you have the acceleration phase, and then you have diminishing returns. When people talk about diminishing returns, it drives me nuts because it's like, dude, diminishing returns are up here. You think that the world has adopted Bitcoin as a currency? Are you fucking nuts? Sorry, but no. We're here, dude. We're here. We're savvy investors. We're early adopters. We're transitioning. Institutions usually buy here, by the way. So because institutions are in, there's a possibility that if we perform better this cycle than we did the last cycle, then that means that this is starting. Which, no joke, like, I don't want to sound too fucking bullish here, but, you know, we're not talking about a 10x. We're talking about 100 to 1,000x in Bitcoin. Do with that what you will. Completely dismiss it if you want. But we're talking about technology adoption cycles. Let's take away the price. Let's take away anything to do with the financial side of things and just look at technology adoption cycles. The adoption cycle of the internet, the adoption cycle of email, the adoption cycle of freaking washing machines, the adoption cycle of the car, like any technological innovation. There's the early cycle, which is early people, savvy investors, whatever, it depends on the technology as to the terms that you would be using. And then you have the vast majority that comes in, the technology acceleration of global adoption. Guys, we're like 2%, like if that. Nobody uses Bitcoin. They might hold it, but they don't use it. We have nothing as far as adoption. So you have the whole adoption phase yet to come. And the adoption phase of Bitcoin is going to be fucking massive. Like it's going to be cray cray. And, people hear that and they're like, well, how can you're talking about a 10 million or $100 million Bitcoin. Like that's never going to happen. No, it's never going to happen. But eventually we'll stop talking in Bitcoin. Eventually the exchanges you won't see $100,000 per Bitcoin. You're going to see, 1 cent per sat. And once you remove the unit bias, well, now we're talking about Satoshis. Now we're pricing Satoshis. You're going to have the unit bias is gone. And if you get to $1 a sat, I mean, I don't even know how much that is. Is that 10 million a coin or is that 100 million a coin? I should never do public math, but anyways, you get my point. You're early. You're too early. You're too early. And sometimes being too early is just as bad as being late. Because there's a lot of bullshit. There's a lot of volatility. We don't know how long this could take. We may not reach what I'm talking about, the S curve. We're talking about an S curve here. We think we're here. We think we're at the acceleration of the S curve. But we could also be 15 years away from it. We have no idea. I think we're further along, but I also live in a bubble full of bias. So we'll see. Ass curve. Yep. We're at the beginning of the ass curve, man. At the gym watching you. Pump it up. Pump it up. I'm thinking 170 top for BTC. Add a 0. Why do you say BTC is technology, and what are you comparing it to? What are you comparing it being in the same category? I would compare it to email. So the adoption curve of email, because it's very simple. Like it's very similar. Email is a data packet transfer protocol, right? Where you can have a data packet, the body of the email and the subject of the email transferred via a protocol to an address, an email address. It's the same thing with Bitcoin. You have a data transfer packet, which is the amount of Bitcoin and the information attached to the amount of Bitcoin that you are transferring, or, even with more controversial things, like ordinals and stuff like that. You have a data transfer packet to an address, except it's not an email address. It's a Bitcoin address. So it's the same thing. It's a data transfer protocol. It is technology. It's 100% technology. So I don't know. Should we try and find the adoption curve of email? Adoption curve of email. Let's see what pops up. Let's see here. So here are some adoption curves: airplane, electricity, TV. Man, look at the TV adoption curve, massive. Here's the technology adopter curve. Innovators, early adopters. You fall into the category of early adopter, because we certainly don't have 13.5%. Like, you're borderline innovators, which is nuts, but we're not really innovating. But we're certainly early adopters. And then you have the early majority, you have the late majority, and the laggards. Now, this is a bell curve. When you apply it to price, it's an S curve. Examples of S curve. I want to see the internet S curve. I want to see email S curve. Adoption curve. Come on, give me email. I want to see email. They might just classify it as internet. So let's do internet, which is another form of data transfer protocol. Adoption curve of the internet. Crypto. Oh, look at that. Look at that. There's a Medium article. Crypto versus internet adoption. Crypto year 1, 2016. Internet year 1, 1992. What's the green? Oh, crypto. Okay, yeah. So by year 10, we were at 1.1 billion. So we're accelerating faster than the internet too. By year 10, we have 1.1 billion users. How old is this article? We don't have 1.1 billion users. Do we? No, there's no way. There's no way. So I don't know. This seems incorrect. Anyways, I'm not going to just I'm not going to do a bunch of Google research. You guys get my point. It's technology. There's an acceleration phase of technology, and every model that exists today, whether it's stock to flow, whether it's power law, whether it's the law of diminishing returns, the rainbow log chart, like all of them are based on a logarithmic regression model. None of them are based on an exponential adoption model. So because of that, there is no model. There's no model. You can't forecast the rate of adoption. All that we know is that adoption is low. We can ask, in terms of adoption of Bitcoin, how many users are there globally in percent? $81 million. 1%. 1%. You're an early adopter up to 13%. So you're early, real early. All right, that's it. Let's wrap it up here. Let's just take a little squeaky. What's the Australian term? There's like a peaky squeaky. I don't know. The Australians, let me know in the chat what I'm trying to say. Take a little looky-loo here at the price of Bitcoin. It's looking good, man. 4 hour, we just got a bullish cross here on the 4 hour. The 30 is holding support. The 7 is holding support. We do have a support down here at the 50 at 107. So we got a lot of support to work with us, and we've got the 200 support down here at 100 even, which I don't think is going to happen. That's also the weekly 7. We got nothing but support, ladies and gentlemen. We got the bulls are in control. And that's really what it can all be summed up. Like, the bulls are in control. Sometimes the easiest thing to do is nothing. So just be bullish, have a bullish allocation, and don't fucking touch too many things. Don't get too hands-on. Sometimes hands-off is best. And I'm telling you, we're entering that hands-off period where less is more. Let the market work for you. You've done enough working for the market. It's time to let the market work for you. The market is ready to rock. That is all the time I have for today. If you guys enjoyed this content, please leave it a like. Help out the algo. Don't forget to like, share, retweet, repost, do all the things. Also, go on over to blackbox.pro. That is BLKBöX.pro. Sign up for your free Bitcoin trading bot today. Get into the Discord. You can join the Discord down here once you're logged into your trading panel. And come say hi, come hang out, and get bull run ready. That is all the time I have. Until next time, please trade safe. It is jungle out there. Peace.